Alright everyone, I'm here to give you my TNA review for November 19th, 2014. This video is a day late because I was way too tired to do this video last night. I literally was kind of falling asleep watching the show. Not that the show was boring or anything, I had gotten up at 7 and went to bed at like midnight, so it doesn't really, it's not really a good match right there. And I was waking leaves all day. In the cold, so I probably took some steam out of me. So let's get it done. So we have Taz and Mike Tenay on commentary, and Bobby Roode comes out, and he says that Eric Young and Austin Aries are like the three closest friends in this business, and he says that he's sick of Lashley taking out the competition. So he knows they're scheduled to have a rematch for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but he just wants to fight Lashley tonight. So he calls him out. Lashley comes out. They brawl. It's a decent brawl. Eventually, security breaks it up. It was actually a pretty nice way to start off the show. Very different. We don't really get something like that in the beginning. Then we get Ethan Carter III and Tyrus backstage, and he offers, since Eric Young's injured this week after what Lashley did to him last week, he offers to have him and Rockstar Spud have a face-off tonight. Then we get the first match of the night. It was Havoc defending the Knockouts Championship against Taryn Terrell and Gail Kim. This was a good match. Havoc just starts out the match by just destroying both of them. And eventually, the Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell team up on her, and Taryn Terrell tries to do a high cross body on the outside. Havoc catches her, so then Gail Kim flies on Havoc on the outside, and then Havoc and Gail Kim just have a one-on-one fight until Havoc comes back into it and just destroys everyone. She ended up doing a splash off the top onto both of them, which was a surprise, and tried to covered both of them, but they kicked out. And Havoc gets double teamed. Eventually, what happens? What happens is Taryn Terrell, I think, tried to do the superplex off the top, and Havoc did a powerbomb to Taryn Terrell, so that was good. Eventually, Havoc goes for the double choke slam, and they fight out of it. And they're just double teaming Havoc. They both do high cross bodies to Havoc. Gail Kim hits the feet, and Taryn Terrell does the cutter, and eventually Gail Kim tries to roll up Taryn Terrell, but Taryn Terrell reverses it into a lone roll up, gets the win, and becomes the new Knockouts champion, which I was shocked about. I wish Havoc won, because I wanted Havoc to win. I like Havoc more, so but I like Taryn Terrell too, so they're probably going to have a feud, and hopefully Havoc gets that Knockouts championship back. I can see that happening. So Kenny Kinn's backstage, and MVP is upset because people are just calling him like the mouthpiece of the group. He's just the manager of the group between himself, Kenny Kinn, and Lashley. So tonight, he's going to make a point. He's going to prove himself. So then so Bobby Roode was backstage, and he said that he's not done with Lashley yet. And normally the challenger calls the champion out, but tonight he's calling Lashley out. So I thought that was good. Then we get Kenny Kinn versus Chris Melendez. It was alright. Melendez was able. Since he has one fake leg, he got really high. I actually thought that was awesome. He's able to catch Kenny Kinn with it when he goes off the top rope, and he's able to do a big boot in the corner when he does that. But when he goes to lift him up to hit his finisher, which I believe it was his finisher. I'm gonna eat this pasta while I'm doing this review, and you guys can't do anything about it. No, I'll just wait. But eventually, MVP comes out with the chair and completely takes out Chris Melendez, and Mr. Anderson came out to stop the assault, but they stopped before he even came out there, so I don't know what him being out there did. So then backstage, Mr. Anderson's pissed about this, and Kurt Angle's going to go find MVP and talk to him about it. You can probably see where this is going. Ethan Carter III and I wrote Eric Young by accident, but it's really Rockstar Spud. I think this is when I was starting to become tired, so I was writing that down. Rockstar Spud before I was backstage, and he said he'd come out there. It was like the typical stuff you would. He trashes Rockstar Spud, and they have a fight. He lets Rockstar Spud get the first shot, but instead he punches him in the face. He kicks him in the balls. He goes off on him with EC3, beats his ass, and Tyrus floors him up and does the thumb to the throat move, like the Samoan spike that Umaga used to do. And he said that he's going to take a little pieces out of Rockstar Spud's career, so he cuts his hair off first. I was expecting him to completely shave it, but he just cut some of it off. So the next thing, Kurt Angle's backstage, and he finds Kenny Ken, and he's pissed at him, and then MVP ambushes him from behind and attacks him. And Kenny Ken even thought this was too far, but he said this was a long time coming. So I thought that was good. So then we got Blam versus Tommy Dreamer in a hardcore match. What happens here is it was actually really good stuff. Tommy Dreamer brawled with Blam. He put a bunch of weapons in the ring, but eventually Blam suplexes him on the ramp. They fight up there some more. Eventually, Tommy Dreamer fights back, hits him with some sort of with like a replica championship belt. Tommy Dreamer and throws him into the steel post, and then Tommy Dreamer gets busted open somehow. I forget how. And one more. I'm not done yet. Blam just beats his ass pretty much, and eventually Dreamer makes a comeback. He drops him down balls first onto a steel chair in the ring, and clotheslines himself off while Blam's sitting in the chair, which was a nice touch. He does a Russian leg sweep with the kendo stick, which you can do in WWE 2K15. And Blam makes a comeback. Tommy Dreamer hit a jumping DDT that Blam kicked out of. Tommy Dreamer brings out a barbed wire steel chair. It's a steel chair wrapped around barbed wire. And he was going to do the Dreamer driver on it, but Magnus runs out and runs interference. And then Al Snow comes out and attacks Magnus. So it's down to Blam versus Dreamer. And Dreamer sets the barbed wire steel chair in the corner and goes to throw Blam into it, but he low blows him. Blam throws him into it and hits the jumping DDT on Dreamer for the win. So Blam still went over him. I was expecting him to. I'm not a huge Blam fan, but he's getting pushed, sort of. He's getting pushed as the hardcore legend. And then Kurt Angle's backstage and said there's going to be repercussions for MVP's actions for attacking him. And Manic and Mahabla Shiri are backstage, and he's wondering why James Storm doesn't like him. And he's like, what do I have to do to get him to like him? Manic says, I'll grow to like you. You just have to awake yourself. So then we get the Fatal 4-Way match for the vacant X Division Championship between Manic, Low-Key, DJZ, and Tigre Uno. It was a decent match. Everyone was flying around doing their moves. This is when I was kind of falling asleep, so I don't really remember this match that much. I remember Low-Key won by hitting a move on Tigre Uno, but I forget what move. But Low-Key's became the new champion, and I was expecting Manic to win, but it didn't happen. I think he hit it on DJZ. I don't even remember who he hit that move on, but it was like, I think, a foot stomp move on him. But I actually wasn't surprised Low-Key went over. MVP and Kenny Ken are backstage, and MVP's trying to get a hold of Lashley, but it's failing. So then we find out what MVP's consequences are going to be. I guess he got attacked by Angle, and they brawl. Kenny Ken runs interference, and then Mr. Anderson comes out, and they brawl. Lashley spears Anderson, and Bobby Roode comes out and brawls with Lashley, and end of the show, and I thought it was a good way to end Impact this week, and it was actually a pretty good Impact. If I had been a little bit more awake, it would have been better, but I like the Knockouts match, I like the X Division match, I like the stuff with Lashley, MVP, and all that stuff, so it was pretty good. There's going to be no TNA next week, though, because I don't know why. They're not having, maybe because it's going to be like Thanksgiving week, so no one's going to really be watching TNA, which is a smart idea. And in 2 weeks on December 3rd, they're just going to show like the top moments of TNA, which is weird because it's not even over yet, but I guess they're going to show it. So I might not even review it 2 weeks from now. Maybe I'll still watch it, but it'll be more like highlights. Maybe I'll review it, maybe I won't. You'll see. It depends on what I do. But I'll be back tonight to do the NXT review.